Pardon me I'm hearing that scary noise.
Hey,
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
I'm having like a day, I swear. I thought it would be easy to get all this stuff done and like nothing worked, but I just, I just don't think it's necessary to have all the sound effects that
Yeah,
bad.
that's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't even put pressure
It
on
was
it.
like it would have been cool. I made this weird sound. Let me see if you can hear it. Of course, it's closed. Never mind.
I did send you in Facebook just the static if you want to
Well,
use
see,
it.
like my webcam is on, but it's not working. It's just like everything is just being a pain right now. I don't know what's going on.
Wait, so you can't restart it and you can't be on screen?
Well, and I also hear a bunch of static from you.
Oh, well, that's probably the fan from the
Oh,
computer.
that
I
has to
had you
be
set.
it.
Yeah.
Let me see. And wow,
There's
I don't know why it does this.
no, I
There
see
we
you
go.
now. Yeah.
But let me see what I can. I should be able to add. Well, I don't know. Let's try one more time. See if I can add. I wanted to add the creepy spider music, right?
The Bitsy spider. Yeah.
But I don't know how it works. If I just try to play the music while it's going, it would technically be easier if I can get it to work on my Adobe stuff. But I can't seem to find anything. Like it's not in the folders it's supposed to be. Everything's giving me a red
A
closing.
ghost moved in.
Yeah, it's like everything's broken today. Is what is like happening. Doesn't let me. It says share an image file or a video file. Can't share just um, an audio file. It looks like. Yeah, it will not let me do just an audio. Well, I can probably do the audio here.
Oh, wait. So I'm streaming it, but I don't think they can hear me.
It's
No.
not live. It's not live yet. It's supposed
Mine
to be live,
is.
but it's not.
Oh, mine is, but I didn't shut off the I'm gonna talk to them real quick on my channel. Hey guys, so I am actually going to be live on Rob's channel, but let me know if you're not able to hear it once it starts in a few minutes. We're just starting a few minutes late, so stand by.
unmistakably. Marisol's eyes flew open. Only one person ever called her Mary. Eva, she gasped, crawling closer to the device as if she might climb through it. The box hissed and popped. Here, the same voice said. It was faint, stretched thin by distortion, but Marisol heard those words, and in them, the lilting tone of her sister's voice. Marisol burst into tears, and clapped over her mouth. It felt as if Eva were right there in the room with her, just out of reach. I miss you, she choked out, hardly believing she was having this one-way conversation. I miss you so much. His back swelled, and another fragment of a voice floated through. Miss you. It was like an echo of her own voice, her own words, yet Marisol believed it was Eva repeating them back to her. She pressed her palms together, almost praying. Are you okay? She asked into the air. Are you at peace? The answer came swiftly, but the voice had changed. It was deeper now, a grainy male rasp that cut through the quiet. No, just that single icy syllable. Marisol flinched. That wasn't Eva. The box spat another snippet, a laughing cackle that dissolved into static. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Marisol felt a sudden chill wash over her. The once comforting darkness now felt oppressive. She realized she hadn't been breathing and sucked in a sharp breath, her chest tight with dread. The spirit box went silent. There was just a faint hissing remaining. Eva, Marisol croaked again, her voice small, but only static answered. She sensed, rather than heard, movement behind her, like someone standing just behind her peripheral vision. Every instinct screamed not to turn around. Fear rooted her in place. A soft whisper brushed against her ear so close it lifted the fine hairs on her neck. She couldn't make out the words, only the unmistakable feeling of being addressed by something that was not her sister. Marisol's courage shattered. She fumbled for the power switch and clicked the spirit box off. The sudden quiet was deafening. With trembling hands, she wiped her tears. The room felt different now, charged, as if unseen eyes lurked in every shadow. She had reached out into the darkness and something else had answered. Clutching her sister's scarf to her chest, Marisol realized she was no longer sure who or what had come through that night. As she crawled into bed, leaving the spirit box alone on the floor, one final sound punctured the silence, a faint tap on her bedroom door. A gentle knock, though no one was home. Marisol squeezed her eyes shut, her heart thumping. She whispered a shaky, "Good night, Eva," hoping her sister could hear her and praying that whatever else she had invited in would be gone by morning. Marisol's experience is haunting, isn't it? One moment filled with hope and longing, the next pierced by a fear that something else might have answered her call. It raises a question we'll keep coming back to. When we seek out the spirits of those we love, do we always know who or what is listening? Now, Marisol faced that moment alone in her dark room, but imagine experiencing something uncanny with others in a group. Fear and anticipation have a way of feeding off each other. Sometimes that shared energy can lead to incredible experiences or incredible delusions. Let's step into a story of a group investigation where reality and imagination dance together in the dark. Next time.
Hello, guys. Rob, I can't hear you. Can Yes, now we hear you. No, wait. Now I don't.
I don't hear him at all.
Marcus, is that you?
Oh, that would be me. Oh, there we go.
All right, there we go.
Welcome to Timeless Mysteries Live Bloopers Edition.
Right.
So today we got Jennifer back with us here. My friend Marcus is also here. Hello. Say hi, Marcus. Hello. And tonight we've got a different theme for everyone, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get started. There is a stillness that settles after midnight, an hour when even the moon holds its breath. In this hush, the veil between worlds is thin. Have you ever listened to the silence and heard it speak? Perhaps a faint whisper from an empty corner, or a cackle, crackle, or a static from a forgotten radio. The day's noise we dismiss. In the day's noise, we dismiss these as nothing. But in the deep of night, our hearts are open, our minds are curious. We lean in closer to that static, to the creaking floors, the sighing wind, and wonder who is whispering to us from the beyond. Tonight, let us wander together through that liminal darkness. We will listen to the voices that may or not be there, see lights that at the edge of our sight. We will question what is real and what is imagined, and what lies in the space in between. Time and reality blur in the midnight hour, and all that remains are the stories, the timeless mysteries that linger like ghosts in an empty room.
Hey, everybody. Just checking in on the chat. Welcome in.
You forgot your part.
No, I'm ready for it. I just wanted to check the chat, see who we've got in today. And like Rob said, we're doing something a little different today. We're going to do some paranormal, and we invite you guys to engage with us and talk in the comment section. Sometimes, when you ask the quiet darkness a question, it answers in a language of echoes. I remember sitting alone in my room as a kid, and I'd have the lights off. I would hold my breath and just listen to the darkness and wait for something, anything to happen. And in those moments, the air itself felt like alive, like there was a buzz to it, almost as if unseen eyes watched and kindred spirits leaned in close. We're here together now, years later, and we're still listening to that silence. And maybe, just maybe, tonight, it will speak to us again.
All right, let's shake off those chills. Who's got goosebumps anymore?
You're like, it's supposed
But once again, I just want to welcome everyone here to Timeless Mysteries. Tonight we're joined by our friend Jennifer from Crafted Evidence Podcast, and a friend of mine, Marcus. So, Marcus, why don't you introduce yourself? I don't know what to say. Well, I'm Marcus. I work with Robert, and I've been working there with them for about 6 or 7 months now. What should I say? I don't know. What do you think about ghosts? Oh, That's hard to say. I guess. Well, I kind of come from a science background. I used to believe in ghosts kind of heavily because I had some strange, I guess you could call them paranormal experiences when I was younger. But I guess now I try to look at it from more of a skeptic's view. So, like, do they exist or not? I guess I can't say for sure. There doesn't seem to be like 100% credible evidence for that. But at the same time, people believe what they believe, and maybe even just that belief is worth investigating.
Did you ever see anything when you were younger, Marcus?
Hmm. I mean, I've seen lots of things that to me I can't explain, but it doesn't mean that they can't be explained.
Right.
So, Marcus, you lived in Japan, right? For how long did you live there? I lived there for about 7 years. Have you ever heard of the suicide forest? Of course, yes. I've heard of the suicide forest, yeah. Have you been there? Because that place is really scary. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of scary places like that in Japan. So, like, a lot of just open, dense forests with weird statues, and then you see, like, random, you know, signs of people having been through there, and you don't know how that's possible. But I haven't been to the suicide forest because it was kind of outside of Tokyo near Mount Fuji, and I was way on the other side of the country, and it's kind of like you have to really want to go there. And I honestly didn't. I definitely didn't want to go near Fuji because that's a bit of a climb. Yeah, I would try to pronounce the name of that place, but I know I would fail. But I actually last year I actually did a story on that place, and it is really spooky. And I guess people get lost in there because it's so quiet that it like messes with your navigational senses and everything. Yeah, it would be very easy to get lost in a place like that. And again, like I said, there's a lot of places like that there. Let's see what the name is. It looks like Aokigahara.
Wow, good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, that's an okay job.
I'm impressed.
So tonight we're going to be talking about. First, we're going to be talking about spirit boxes and the voices people believe they hear through them. We'll also wander into the realm of ghostly orbs and the idea of spirits that might actually stick to you and follow you around. It's a fascinating journey ahead, and we're thrilled to have you all here with us tonight for this live edition of Timeless Mysteries. If you have any questions or you have your own experiences, please share them in the comment section. And don't forget to hit that little like button and let the YouTube algorithm know that this video exists and that you like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hitting the like right now. So, Mirabelle, you believe in ghosts? What about you, Dawn? Just checking in with our chat. So, I kind of talked Rob into talking about these spirit boxes, you guys. I didn't even know what it was until about a year ago. There are some TikTokers that use them to communicate with spirits. If you don't know, there are people called mediums or psychics that can communicate with people who have crossed over. Are you guys, Rob and Marcus, are you guys familiar with that concept?
Yeah, I've heard of mediums before. What was that, Marcus? I said, yes, I've heard of mediums before, yeah. Yeah. I think the mediums are fake, but that's just me. I'm definitely a skeptic. I wish I could play this video clip that I've got of Gabby Petito's mother talking to a medium, and she hears her daughter's voice through one of these spirit boxes, but it's just not working. I don't know what it is. It's like maybe something from the other side doesn't want me to play this stuff for you guys. I don't know.
Well, I can play it on my phone, but it's not going to be very good.
Well, if I could just um find that share folder that we had the other day. I think it was in there,
Let me share it
but it's
with
gone.
you. But let me give you guys kind of a backstory on this video. What I'm going to do really quick, Rob, is share the folder with you and just see if maybe that jump starts you being
That
able to
might
see
help.
everything in
Yeah,
there.
because if I got the file, I can just play it. Otherwise, I can try to share my screen, and then it'll show everyone your Facebook, which you probably don't want them to see, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's the business Facebook. But, um, let me see. So, if you guys are not familiar with the Gabby Petito story, um, it is one of those crime stories that a lot of people cover. And she and her boyfriend were living the van life and they decided to go cross country. And the family kind of later found out that the boyfriend was abusive. They didn't know, but he ended up strangling her. We really don't know why. We're assuming that some type of argument happened between the two of them, causing this to happen. He left her body out west and took the van that they were using together and went back to Florida. He ended up, and I don't know if I have to use this word on YouTube, but unaliving himself, which I hate that word. Um,
I hate them too.
yeah. Um, and left a note admitting what he did. However, he said he did it out of mercy because she had fallen and hurt herself. Um, and she was in so much pain that that is why he did it. Now, if you followed the case closely, and you can jump in the chat, you guys, because this was a big story. Um, no one believes his name is Brian Laundrie. No one believes Brian.
Are you happy that we spent the day with Rose?
Oh, I hear it. You got it?
No, I'm trying to download it to Canva, and
Okay.
then I can maybe play it. But
I just resent you the folder in the chat. So see if that, when I mean chat, I mean Facebook. Um, Let me know if that works for you guys. And in the comment section, if you want to chime in about the Gabby Petito case and what your thoughts are, please feel free to share that. But Gabby, I've actually chatted with Gabby's mom. I was supposed to do an
it is
interview.
not in there.
It's not. Okay, I'll drop
No,
it in.
but I think I can. I think I can figure it out how to share it anyway. If you
Sure.
just keep talking,
Yeah,
I'll do
sure.
this.
Um, so I was chatting with Gabby's mom, and Gabby was an artist. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to interview her mom, is talk about her art, because that's kind of what my channel is about. Um, but they are very open-minded and have met and talked with mediums. And Riding Down the Rabbit Hole says, "You've talked to your grandmother. I'm going to come back to you in just a moment and I want to know." And so has Olga. I want to hear about this. Um, so Gabby Petito's family has been very open, at least her mom and her stepmom have been really open to the mediumship. So I came across a video the other day where Gabby's mom and stepmom met with a medium, but they're using this device called a spirit box to talk. So let me kind of explain what this is. Um, do you guys know what a spirit? Do you know what that is, Marcus?
Yes, because I played
Okay. So I'll explain it just for people who don't know. Um, it's like, picture a handheld radio and it stays on one channel and it sweeps through frequencies, and like it will spit out fragments of sound, words, syllables. It might be a song. It might be like a phrase from a talk show, and it's layered with static and noise. And the thought is that a spirit may be sending these phrases out, words out to get their message to us. So, kind of back in the day, they would use EVPs, Ouija boards, if we want to go way back. But this is kind of a new phenomenon that you're probably seeing on TikTok now. And I thought it was interesting that when Rob is able to play this, they do have videos of Gabby's voice. So they're actually able to use her real voice, which is very creepy. But her mother was open to it, so I don't find it disrespectful to play this whatsoever. And if you're able to see the video, you'll see the mom's there with the medium. But if not, just kind of remember mom's there and she's taking part in this.
Well, this is the best I could do for sharing it right now. I swear I had this saved yesterday. It was all set up to share, and it's just all gone. But I think I can share. Do you guys see anything on the screen yet?
I don't. Well, oh, yep, it's popped there. We got it. We got it.
Well, this isn't the greatest way to work with, but
Gabby, were you happy that we spent the day with Rose today?
let's have you ask some more, Nicole. I want to get a couple more from you.
Gabby, when I got the text from Josh that he wanted to call and the light turned on in the bathroom, was that you?
I didn't get a chance to ask about this yet, but we know, I think all three of us know, that orb that showed up in the picture, and I even think I see your face, which I think, your mom mentioned, that orb was you, correct? Yeah, me. Yeah, it's me. Okay. Are you experiencing, I know you told me about experiencing Christ, or you met Christ. I know that I heard him talking to you one day. Meditation, it was just a really surreal experience. Is that true? Is that what's going on? You could say something, you can ask. So that's the clip that we've got for that. But I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit because, first of all, it's extra hard for somebody who's lost somebody and it made national news. I'm a skeptic, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't, I'm not going to say anything bad about somebody who believes in this stuff. I just think there's other explanations for it. But I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the spirit box and what they are. And if I can ever get one, I think they would be fun to have. But
I'm
I would
not
probably
playing.
just creep myself out, and I think Jennifer's like, yeah, the same thing.
I'm not playing, Rob.
Try it. Marcus, you could probably build us one, right? We could give it a shot. Yeah, we'll have to try it out. I wonder if you can do like a Ouija board from like across the internet. They probably will make a horror movie about that now. Somebody's gonna try it, and then something's gonna come out and kill everyone.
Yeah.
Quick, copyright that idea. Yeah, write it down. Okay. So yeah, on a quiet night, well, not long ago, I gotta do my the ghost voice. Okay. On a quiet night, not long ago, Nicole Schmidt, the mother of Gabby Petito, set up a camera and a device crackling with static. She went on TikTok Live, a solitary figure bathed in the cold glow of a screen, to call out her murdered daughter using a spirit box. In the darkness, the device hissed and jumped through radio frequencies, spitting out fragments of words like disembodied whispers. And you guys just heard that, right? It was kind of creepy.
What?
One moment, there's only meaningless noise. The next, it's like a syllable, the sound like mom. Nicole's heart probably pounded. I mean, this has got to be kind of spooky. Yet it is touching as this moment, as touching as this moment was. There's a controversy about these spirit boxes and whether or not they're real. Critics and skeptics online recoil at the spectacle. Some accuse the participants of exploiting, being false hope to mourners. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that they're fake? Do you think there are some that are fake that aren't? Not all of them are fake.
I'm gonna let Marcus go first since I always interrupt everyone.
What now? Okay, well, I I would have to really narrow down how they're supposed to be working. Like, I understand that they're scanning through AM and FM radio signals and kind of like picking stuff up, but I guess I've never heard one like that where it sounds like they're using her actual voice. Like, it sounds a lot more sophisticated
with her actual voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabby's got this low, like, deep, husky voice, and it was creepy when I first heard it. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's very different from like Ghost Hunters International in the early 2000s. That's what I'm used to. So it's different. Without knowing exactly how it's working, I wouldn't know how to say whether it's real or not real. But again, I always go back to like watching her mother's face, like the amount of like comfort it seemed to give her. I think that's worth it in of itself.
I agree.
Yeah.
What about you, Jennifer?
I have a hard time with the spirit box itself because I think it's too easy to manipulate with like pre-recorded sound bites you want. But I do believe there are mediums out there. I do believe there's fakes. I think there's a ton of fakes, but I do think that there are real people that are able to communicate with the other side. And I feel the only reason I believe that is I am intuitive to an extent where I can like think of things and it happens, or have a dream about something and it happens, or if just things will sometimes come to me. And it freaks me out. I try not to tap into it too much, but also I want to ask in the chat, are you guys intuitive? Do you what do you think? Do you think there are psychic? I mean, I guess they say a psychic is more like telling the future, and a medium is more communicating with people who've crossed over. So there is kind of a difference there.
Whenever I see stuff like this, I find that when there's like a group of people that are all getting freaked out, they end up like freaking out themselves and each other, and then it just kind of gets bigger and bigger. It's kind of a mass hysteria kind of thing. I've walked through like haunted tours and stuff, and like, it just feels like you're walking through a regular house. And then I've walked through the same tour, and the people are like freaking out. You're picking up like, these micro cues from somebody kind of flinching at this or looking at that or listening for something. And I don't know, it just makes you feel weird. So I think it has something to do with the people you're with, and the place that you're at, whether or not you're going to feel those like prickles on the back of your neck when you're walking through different places. I don't think these spirit boxes are real, but if you've ever watched like old ghost shows, like I was just watching Supernatural the other day, and they've got that old car that they drive and the radio like does that every once in a while. Just like starts randomly flipping through the stations, and then you hear a voice. But I didn't think about bringing up Ouija boards. Have you guys ever heard of the psychic circle?
No, what is it?
What's that?
It's basically a lot like a Ouija board, but
Okay.
it's got different words on the board.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a little scarier. What about you, Marcus? You play with Ouija boards when you were a kid?
When I was little, my parents, I urged them to get me one. And they were certainly against it, but they relented and got me one. And then me and my friends used it once at a sleepover, and that was definitely the last time we ever used it because it was very scary.
Whoa, what happened?
Well, we were just asking it questions, and I'm sure one of us was just moving it around, but whatever it was talking about killing one of us that night.
Whoa.
And so, yeah, I think, I don't know if it was that night or earlier that morning. The next day, I took it and I just threw it away in the garbage. It was a very...
Did it come back?
Yes. Now, I assume it's because my parents took it out of the garbage.
Yeah.
It's never the parents that bring it back out of the trash.
You know what? I think
Never,
you need to ask your parents right now. Be like, do you remember the Ouija board? Did you take it out of the garbage can?
I could give them a text.
If I think about it as a parent, maybe I would have taken it out of the trash just because I paid for it.
Right.
I don't want to waste the money,
Sure. But wouldn't you tell your kid that you did that? You wouldn't just put it in their closet and not say anything.
Yeah.
Well,
or ask you why you threw it out.
My friends, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, or be like, why'd you throw it out?
Right. Although that should have been
obvious. Like 100 stories of people saying that they got their parents throw away their Ouija board, they burn it, all kinds of things, and it's like ends up back in the closet.
Wow.
And of course, I don't believe it, but these people do, and people get really scared. But there's this. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. The psychic circle. My friends had this thing. I don't know why they didn't just have a Ouija board, but man, that thing was scary. We took it to a cemetery one night around midnight, and we all ended up running out of the cemetery. And as we exited the cemetery, there's one lone street light up above. And, this is like on a deserted road. There's nobody there. There's not even a house. Like the house that we were at was like probably, if there was blocks, it'd be about like 6 or 7 blocks. Like we had to actually walk out to the cemetery in the dark. And as soon as we exited the cemetery, that street light goes all, and everybody's like screamed and started running instantly at the same time. I think what actually happened was, how those lights, sometimes when you're driving down the road, you see the street lights like just, go out.
Yeah.
I think there's like a sound. It sounds like an explosion that happens when that happens. But you don't ever hear it because you're in your car. We were right under it. And, but it still scared the crap out of us.
Well, sure. I want to read a comment from Mirabelle in the chat. And I agree with this. Energy doesn't stop. And spirits pop in occasionally, and they're usually cryptic. But I want to know why they're cryptic, because I always joke with my parents, if you go to the other side and I go talk to a medium, we have to have a code word. So that I know it's you. But it is interesting why sometimes there are mediums that seem to be more tuned in and can get so much information out, and then others feel like they're putting pieces to a puzzle together. Checking in our chat. Rob, so I also
got an image, maybe. Well, it said I downloaded the image, but now it's gone. Well.
I sent you an interesting video too of a little girl through Facebook. I saw you play it there for a second. Where she is at the grave site with her aunt, and you see her kind of interacting with something. And they say that kids are more in tune to spirits or afterlife. Okay, psychic circle.
Oh. So this is it. I was trying to get the actual image. I swear I downloaded it. It did not pop up, but it's somewhere on my computer now. It'll probably pop up and scare me in the middle of the night.
This looks more like advanced for people who are
yeah, there's
right
like,
more in
I don't
tune.
know. Like we played this with like some friends of ours, and then one of their sisters joined us one time, and she was crying and like screaming and like tried to like leave the house when we played this thing.
Wow.
I don't know. I think the Ouija boards are creepy because they're older, and there's actually like there's a lot of lore about Ouija boards, and also scary movies
Sure.
about Ouija boards.
I honestly won't mess with them. Whether I think they're real or not, I have left gatherings in high school where kids were playing with Ouija boards. And I'm like, nope, I'm not having any part of this.
You know, I swear I was always the one that like moved the little thing. And one time my friends asked, well, what book do we need to get? And, you know, I'm spelling this stuff out, right? And I said something and I named the title. You know, I'm the one moving this thing.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that the book existed. And they found it and bought it.
Really?
Yeah. So that tells you maybe, you know, maybe I'm psychic after all. And something was like tuning in to my like wavelengths and like making me move this thing.
Yeah.
Like, where did I get the idea for that, right?
It sent the message to your brain.
Exactly. Or it's just a freak accident and somebody, one of those names of something that, you know, it's like low hanging fruit. It's easy to like come up with. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to read this from my chat. I don't know if he's jumped over to your chat, but Don Schmidt says, I dated two different women who told me they were intuitive. When we met, they both told me I have two women standing behind me in spirit, and they described them in detail. One was my girlfriend who died from ovarian cancer. Have you guys ever met anyone who has the ability to see people?
Not me, no.
I have not either.
Not that I can think of offhand. I mean, I know my wife, her side of the family, like a lot of them kind of have that, I guess they would say that gift, but I haven't really talked to them about it in depth or anything. Oh, sorry.
Gabby, were you?
That was weird.
You didn't do that?
Sorry.
Do you have the video of that girl?
No, apparently I downloaded it, but now it's not there anymore. So let me see if it'll.
We are also talking about orbs, you guys. I went ghost hunting about not ghost hunting. I went on a ghost tour about 13 years ago. And, you know, we took our camera and took a bunch of pictures in the cemetery. But those pictures, they had a million orbs in them. But, you know, they say that orbs can be dust particles. But then there are these weird photos, like the one they show in this Gabby video, where like it's daylight and you see this huge orb. So in the chat, curious, what do you think orbs are? Do you think it's just reflection of light, or do you think it is possibly a spirit showing?
About to leave her mother's grave, she began waving. You
No,
you
yeah,
think
play that.
whenever you add something to this, it wouldn't start playing right away. But there's no way for me to stop it. But I found it.
Yeah. So kind of watch
Go
this.
ahead.
Yeah, watch this little girl.
Talking.
No, just watch it. And it's interesting. Watch her movements.
This little girl was about to leave her mother's grave. She began waving and saying goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Her aunt was confused by the situation, considering they were the only two people at the cemetery. She steps up onto her mom's grave before leaning her head up for a kiss. She points and says goodbye one last time before going on as if nothing strange just happened.
What are you waving at, Liv?
That's
I don't know.
AI. It's fake.
The girl's
It's
fake?
gotta be. I don't know. I got goosebumps watching.
She's got all her fingers. It's
No,
not
I
AI.
think it's real. I think it is.
She's got all her fingers. That's a good point. Yeah. Let's watch that again.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy. Here, I'll skip a little bit.
I know it.
Bye, kids. Bye-bye.
Her aunt was confused by the situation, considering they were the only two people in the cemetery. She steps up onto her mom's grave before leaning her head up for a kiss. She points and says goodbye one last time before going on as if nothing strange just happened.
What are you waving at, Liv?
But, she's sitting there not freaking out with her camera on. That's like, I don't know, if that was something happening to me, I'd be freaking out. I wouldn't be just like, oh, let's record this happy moment.
I think I'd be so eager to get it on video. But I understand maybe she would just be being a kid waving and stuff, but like the way she lifts her head up to get the kiss, I
Yeah, I don't think you can
wow.
teach a kid that age to do that for the camera either. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Mirabelle says
But
kids are
maybe there
open.
was somebody there and they edited out the person. They can do a lot of stuff with movie magic.
That's a lot of effort.
Yeah, it looks like a cell phone footage, but it could be like some big, look at all the ghost stories that is in Hollywood right now. Like all the special effects that they can do. If
Sure.
they can do it, we can do it. And they like to make it look like it's cell phone footage. It might be difficult for just your regular person, but not somebody who does video editing for a living. It would be easy.
I want to believe it's real just because it's so precious.
I think that's the truth of it.
We've got a lot of Chris Watts Islanders in here. Since we're kind of on the topic of kids, I wanted to bring up the fact that a lot of people said the weeks leading up to what happened, the girls were acting different and saying things that, were really out of the norm. And it kind of makes me wonder if they sensed something was going to happen. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know how I think. I don't think they had any idea anything was going to happen. I have to think that, or it's just, I don't know. If they were acting different, they probably were picking up on, the vibes from the parents.
His vibes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would agree.
Yeah, and he had dark vibes going on, so I would be like not wanting to be around him, and that's exactly.
Well, you're like when you're a kid and you see your parents fighting, you kind of hide or you do whatever.
Mhm.
You don't just act normal. So I don't know if they were like, when I say vibes, I just mean they're picking up the signals from their parents. There's something wrong and they know it. That's what I'm talking about. Not really dark, vibes, like spiritually kind of stuff,
Yeah. Riding down the rabbit hole says, I had bad experience. I felt like something bad was going to happen. I share that with you. I swear I knew my cancer diagnosis when I was getting my mammogram done. Like just something in that room, the energy shifted to we were having lighthearted conversation and then like all of a sudden it just got like serious. I don't know. And it was just a technician and me. And technicians are not doctors, right? But I'm sure they do kind of know what they're seeing on the imaging. But in that moment, the energy shifted, and I remember going home and I said to my husband, I think they're going to call me back. I just have this weird feeling it didn't go well. And he said, you're just being maybe paranoid. And I even went to the doctor's receptionist and I said, if I get bad news, can you guys please just call me? Don't make me come in. And then, sure as shit, on Monday, they called me and they were like, we need you to come in for more imaging. And later it was confirmed. But, Rob, when you talk about that energy, it doesn't even necessarily have to be like something spiritual. I think we all give off an energy or a vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of our human nature. We have to understand the people around us, and most of the time we pick up on subtle things, just subtle feelings you get when you get to like, wow, it's kind of getting awkward in here. When you're in, two people are like kind of like looking at each other weird. They haven't even started arguing yet, but you can just feel it. It's just I don't know. I read this book called Snap. I think it was called Snap, but it was about snap judgments. And after reading that, there's a lot of decisions that happen like instantaneously almost, and it's based off of all kinds of very subtle things we don't even pay attention to unless you really try to, make an effort to pay attention to them.
Yeah. Rob,
Yeah.
can you make me an admin so I can pin some of these comments? I tried to click and it won't let me, but I'm assuming I have to be an admin.
I think I might have to go to actual YouTube to do that.
Oh,
'cause I
okay,
don't
no
know
worries.
anyway.
Um,
I think
Mirabelle said my mother was behind my head telling me no cancer after a lung operation. And then it sounds like the doctor walked into the room and she told him first that she knew it wasn't cancer. So that's a great story to hear.
so. I'm hoping we don't get any weird feedback, but I'm going to try to see if I can pull up the chat on YouTube.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that's where I'm reading it now. I'm going to read another one from Riding Down the Rabbit Hole. The night I had my accident, I felt like something was going to happen. My daughter's class was going to Washington, to the White House to meet the president, and I had a feeling come over me not to let her go. And she wound up in the hospital for a week while they were gone. Wow. They always talk about a mother's intuition, but I think we all have it. Maybe just women are a little more in tune with it.
So you should be a moderator now.
Okay, let's see if I can just pin a comment. I'm curious. Yep, there we go. Cool. Okay. Well, I can't pin, but I can push someone in the timeout chair.
That's much more important.
Right.
The power.
Bummer. But yeah, thank you guys. These are good experiences.
So yeah. So these orb things, I never knew that they were a thing. And I've got all these videos of my kids with these things flying around, and you can only see them when the camera's on. And I'm gonna try to share one that I have.
I think the weird thing about that, Rob, is orbs are really hard to catch on video. So the fact that you tell me that you see it all the time.
I can't see them, but as soon as I turn on the camera, I can. Like everything, they're just there.
But usually orbs show up in photos, and it's like you can see them in the video you sent. I was like, this happens all the time. But I got a feeling looking at the video that it was something like protective. Ooh, I just saw some hearts go up. So yeah, remember to like
try to find
chat.
another one that you haven't seen yet. But apparently I can't find my photos. I do everything on my tablet, so none of my passwords are saved here.
Whoa, Don just shared. My girlfriend called me after she passed. I live in Colorado and I went back to New York for the funeral, got home and got a phone call. I let it go to voicemail. When I checked, it was static and it said, I'm all right.
Now I'm curious what phone number it came from.
Yeah, Dawn, did it come from her original phone number? And also, do you still have the voicemail? Because if you have the audio, I'd love for you to email it so we could listen to it.
Which audio did you want me to play?
Oh, I was saying if Don has the audio of the voicemail, I'd love to hear it. Another thing we were talking about besides um ghosts kind of appearing is also ghosts attaching themselves to things. And I saw some of you guys in the comments section talking about possession. That is like one thing I hate talking about. The Exorcist was absolutely the scariest movie. Didn't even finish it. Did you guys see that when you were younger?
When I was a young adult, but I didn't get all the way through it either.
Yeah.
You said The Exorcist? Yeah, I can't watch that one either.
Because it involved a child, I couldn't. And I had a really weird feeling at one of the scenes, and I like screamed at my friend to turn it off. And I was like, I don't want to watch it, don't want to finish it. And her mom was like, that is what fear feels like. You've probably never felt real fear before. And it was like, I don't know what it was, but I don't want to feel it again. Um, and it really bothered me for a couple weeks. And then this is the bizarre part about all of this. So I would think about it at night. I'd sleep with a nightlight, and I was probably like 15 years old, you guys. So I was older. And then I started hanging out with another friend a little more. And she was trying to get me to go to the church youth group for like weeks. And finally I said, I'll go one night. And guess what the topic was the night I decided to go with her?
Was it exorcism or the
possession? It was possession. And so my friend's like, you have to talk to the priest. She's like, it's a sign. It's a sign. And I go, okay, I feel so dumb. But I did talk to him and I felt better after talking to him and leaving. But I was like, that is just like, it was just a sign to me. It was something bothering me for weeks and weeks. And then I happened to go with her that night and they talk about that, right? Like, what were the odds? I know it could be a coincidence, but I think I needed that to feel at peace because the whole thing disturbed me so much.
Yeah. I remember when I was right before graduating high school, I think I suddenly wanted to really become a demonologist. And so I was looking at like how do you become a demonologist, and I could only find one like university in California that had like courses in it. And I was like, oh, I don't have enough money to go out there, so I had to kind of give up on it. But
now, what exactly do they do? Is it
Witch or something?
Well, Marcus, the guy who investigated the Amityville house, like there was a psychic, and they were like husband and wife maybe. The husband was a demonologist, but he was he didn't go to school for it. He declared himself a demonologist.
See, I think that's a good way to get killed.
What exactly do they do?
Well, I think a demonologist is almost kind of like an exorcist would be for the church, right? I think they investigate possessions and such, and kind of can help you get demonic spirits out of your life.
But more like scientific based?
As much as demonology can be. I mean, it was like a course, like, at a university. So yeah, I imagine there's some kind of method to it.
That's interesting. I've never heard of it.
When I went to college, they had a Harry Potter course also.
Really?
See, I'm not kidding. A real one. It was always a huge wait list for it.
I'm sure it was. I'd take that course.
But yeah, demonologists, I mean, I guess if they're good demonologists, I mean, they could be the other kind that's like conjuring demons to do something nefarious.
Oh,
That would be
right?
interesting. I don't want to do that either because I feel like that would also turn out poorly.
Yeah, I don't think you should ever play with demons.
No.
Yeah.
Even if they are like scientifically, if they ever prove that they exist, we just can't understand them enough. They're gonna destroy us. If they can possess us, we can't possess them. Have you ever heard of a human possessing a demon?
No, I've never.
No. So write that down too.
Riding down the rabbit hole is bringing up, and I have heard this. Linda Blair was the actress who played the little girl in that movie, and she did have a lot of weird things happen to her, but I didn't know this, that the priest in the movie died making the movie.
Yeah, I heard that.
I know weird things happened on set, but I didn't know that.
There's a lot of horror movies that people died in it, and um, one of the ones that I knew growing up was the Poltergeist um, franchise. Like somebody was always dying on the set every single movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, but it could have been a hoax too. I mean, maybe they didn't really die on the set, and then they just like, oh, they died on the set.
They just happened to die. Yeah.
Or moviegoers or whatever they. I don't know how Hollywood made money back then. Probably just movie tickets.
Do you guys believe that a spirit can attach itself to, like,
I think some people are ghost magnets.
yeah,
They attract spirits wherever they go, or the psychic energy. They just give off this energy too to make you feel uncomfortable, but it could be just the ghosts they're drawing in.
what about attaching to objects, Marcus?
I mean, if a ghost can attach itself to a person, I don't see why it can't attach itself to an object.
Well, an object's not living,
Well, why would it have to attach itself to a living object?
Well, why doesn't it attach itself to a rock?
Does it need the does it need the energy?
Start talking about Japanese Shintoism if you want to.
Oh, you could talk about that. I'm just kind of being sarcastic here, but go ahead. I'll let you.
Well, we don't have to talk about Shintoism, but it's like some people say that certain objects, if a person holds them dear or is in contact with them for a long time, they can, develop their own psychic signature. And so if it can attach itself to a person that way, I don't see why you couldn't attach to an object that held some kind of significance to a person.
Some meaning to you.
Something I read a long time ago that really kind of has stuck with me is that, we think of thought as something that doesn't exist physically, but there was this scientific study on, consciousness, and they suggest that every thought that you create in your mind has a weight to it. And, if you think about that and then you think about all this negative energy and how ghosts attach to things, if you're like creating these thoughts, and I guess, if you could, if it's, well, I guess it sounds
manifesting.
weird, right?
No,
Thoughts
manifesting.
shouldn't have any weight, but they do. And, if you think about human nature in general, everything that the humanity's ever dreamt of has come true. We wanted to fly, we fly. It's an idea and it's stuck, and then it's spread. Just a thought.
Yeah, that concept to me is called manifesting, and I think it's more positive, like positive thought. But, also
anything that could be positive could also be the opposite.
correct. Yeah, we were talking about if, I was telling Rob, I've had a lot of health struggles over the past 4 years, and Rob was kind of saying, like, if you, continue to kind of think negatively and think I'm sick, then you could continue to be sick. And I said, I absolutely agree with you. So, like, sometimes I have to switch my feeling and tell myself, no, I'm getting better. I'm getting better because I want to manifest health, right? Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to make magic happen or anything, but positive thought could create positive energy, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Well, why is it that some people can drive into a huge parking lot and then pull into a spot immediately, but then other people will drive circles forever and ever and ever, and then maybe eventually they get a spot right before they're about to like go home and give up?
We've had this conversation before.
I know. It's always on my mind because I hate parking and I never find a spot. But
you just don't focus on the times that you do.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to take. You have to start taking like
Keep a
statistical data.
notebook.
You know, one time I started like, you know, when I throw stuff into the trash, I started counting how many times it takes, and one day I was like, well, it always takes me at least 2 times, and then forever after that, every time I threw something in there, I have to do it again every single time.
Oh, that's definitely manifesting.
The power of thought, you know.
Absolutely.
Really is.
Yeah. And then I do think maybe, yeah, a spirit could attach itself to an object. I've heard creepy stories of people buying things at estate sales, and then odd things begin to happen, and they I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. Mirabelle goes, "How did I get a wrench?" in the chat, and I noticed that too.
She does have a wrench, but it's because she is a
Oh,
member
I'm
to my
dying.
channel, and I gave her admin
That
access.
wrench.
Oh
Okay.
God, that was so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
How did
like
I get a
totally.
wrench?
You could also put people on timeout.
Oh shoot, that was so funny. But yeah, like people have tried to give back maybe a book, or I've heard the whole folk tale of a haunted rocking chair, and then they like try to get rid of it, but it comes back or something like that.
Yeah, wasn't there that movie about that doll, that haunted doll that they bought?
Annabelle or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
so
I
like
hate those movies.
Haunted objects, it certainly seemed to be a thing.
You know,
houses.
I just keep coming back to this idea that ghosts aren't real, right? But what if when you're alive, you focus on something so much that your essence sticks to it? So it's not really a ghost, but it's not really not a ghost.
Like a recorded energy.
Well, like say you have a favorite hairbrush, right, that you always use. You put a lot of thought into how much I love this hairbrush, and then you pass away. What if you're still attached to that hairbrush?
Yeah, they kind of call it like a recorded energy, where it's almost like leaving a voicemail, but you're not like really a ghost. But I don't even know how to explain it, but does that make sense? It's like you're leaving a recording as a spirit, but you're no longer there. You've moved on. If that makes
like
sense.
Like a psychic imprint or something.
Yeah, like an imprint. A recorded
I'm thinking
imprint.
Plasma TV burn-in, you know, screen burn-in.
Oh,
so it could be your own memory of them fading through into reality, you know, some kind of.
I just don't get how we've been able to go to the damn moon, but we don't know what happens when we're gonna die. Like, we're all gonna die one day. So you would think that there would be more study on that, but there's really not.
There probably is, but we're not rich enough to know about it.
I mean, there is, right? But it's like there's only so much. It's hard to bring people back, I think is the thing. Like, we know what happens right up until you die, but until.
Well, what if there was a cure for death? You know, what if there really was a cure for death and none of us knew it? We thought death is all part of life, but there's like a cure. Like there's something.
I never thought about that, Rob. I've always thought maybe there's a cure for a lot of illnesses. Obviously, we know there is.
Definitely some kind of form of an illness, right?
Right. But is there, like, maybe you take a rock from Mars and eat it and you won't die. As dumb as that
You might also get
sounds.
possessed by a little, like, super powerful amoeba thing or
Right.
something. Alien. Kind of parasite.
But like think of all the cures we found through like nature that would seem so stupid, but they actually are something we use in our everyday life. Like aloe vera, right? For sunburn. Like you break a plant open and you rub it, on your sunburn and it helps. But like you're saying, what if there's something out there we don't know that makes you not die?
Yeah, it could be something. I've always wondered what if sand ended up becoming priceless. Because I've watched the movie and read the book Dune. And then they got the
Yeah.
spice world, and like everybody's like getting the sand, but we got all these deserts with nothing but sand in it. Just imagine if that was the key, the answer to everything. We didn't even know it.
And it's just like so tiny and there's so much of it. Like, I don't know. Lately I've been thinking, because my son is super into the solar system and the planets and all that. And I'm like, what if when we die we become a star? Because there's just like so many out there that there would never not be enough room, but there's just so much we don't know about, and it drives me nuts that I feel like we study medicine more than we study, afterlife. I know they're studying afterlife, but I guess it's just not widely talked about.
There's also the possibility that they have studied the afterlife and found out there's nothing, so there's no point of studying it.
Is it a money maker? Life and death?
Well, if you were like the only person who had the cure for death, you could live for thousands of years. Of course, it'd be good for you.
Yeah.
Like you'd be able to amass pretty much anything you ever wanted in that amount of time.
But what about the body breaking down and aging? Because there's that guy I mentioned, Brian, I can't remember his last name, you guys, but he is a guy who does a ritual of vitamins and supplements every day because he's trying to almost reverse his aging. Um, and I guess he's doing that because, as we age, it's harder to function. So then it makes you kind of feel like, yes, we are supposed to die. But he's obviously not going to accept that. So he's not even really living his life because he's so focused on living forever. Um, but would you have to like transport your brain into something else to continue to live though? Because your body's going to break down.
Well, there could be a cure for that too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's actually religions that believe when you die, if you're if you're good enough, you actually get your own world to be the god of. There's also I think I haven't read this directly, but I'm thinking about it now. But if you think of Buddhism, you get reincarnated as like an ant one time, and then a bigger animal the next time. What if eventually you get reincarnated into a planet or a star?
Yeah, I believe in reincarnation. Um, I know I'm very open to all sorts of things. Have you guys ever seen, like back in the 80s, some of those unsolved mystery episodes where there would be like a kid that would look at old pictures and be like, that's me in the picture. And then they would know like all of these details about this person's life. And they were only like 6 years old and they were like insistent that they lived a past life.
Yeah, I've heard about that even more recently, as like maybe a few years ago, there was another case like that.
Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries used to be really good.
Oh God, I loved Robert Stack.
It really did. Back when it was original, they had all these like spooky things that were happening, and then it turned into just missing people.
Yeah.
And then it went off the air.
They brought it back on Netflix if you haven't seen it.
Oh, I remember seeing
yeah.
the first one, I think.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's not as good.
Also, yeah.
Not as good as the 80s, but...
That theme song. I could not take that theme song. So scary.
That's my favorite!
Oh, no, I had to mute it.
What was that show that my mom used to always watch? There was like this forest, and then like it would like turn into a negative image, and like, but I think that if I saw that introduction, I'm like 5 or 6 years old. If I saw that, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep at night. I would have to like start thinking about like Superman or something not scary like that stupid forest.
Forest negative.
But I can't remember what it was. The Twilight Zone, but it wasn't the Twilight Zone. It was something similar to the Twilight Zone.
The Outer Limits?
No, maybe not. I don't know. Let me Google it.
I'm now Googling what Don has said about this 7-year-old.
Tales from the Dark Side, he says.
Tales from the Dark Side. That's it.
Is winning.
Yep.
You're winning, chat, Don.
Tales from the Dark Side. Let me see if I can. Well, if I played it on here, I'd probably get some kind of like.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, you guys can Google it.
I'm now Googling what Don was talking about. This 7-year-old who says he was involved in the 9/11 plane crash. That's really interesting.
What?
Yeah. And he knows all these details.
If he's 7, then he's old enough to be a little boy genius and can remember things that somebody told him to say, I think.
I'd have to watch the interviews with him. That'd be interesting.
Like that, this video here with the little kid. No, as if nothing strange just happened. That kid is too small.
Yes,
to
I agree
with
that. Yeah.
But there could have been somebody there that we just can't see because they edited it, like a professional.
Yeah, professional child wrangler.
Well, look at it. I was looking at it in slow motion, trying to see if I could see like footprints, or something, but I don't see anything.
No, I think that's her ghost mom.
I don't see any orbs either.
No.
But it's not a still image, Robert.
Chat,
I know.
What do you guys
but I was
think?
looking for like, something to change, like, a leaf that disappears or something on the ground. But I don't really see anything like that happening.
I mean, that's assuming that it goes.
I think I do see something.
The physical world that way, though.
No, maybe not.
Oh,
yeah, I'm wondering if they just didn't say some stuff before the video started.
Situation.
That could be true, but I don't
say
know.
Hi to your mom. She's standing right there.
I mean, yes, the waving for sure. Yeah, she probably was like, "Go say hi to your mom." But like the kiss, that's where it gets me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Well, I still think it's
I think that's weird to us as grown-up people. Like, we wouldn't just do that, but the way that a child might interpret it might be different than the way we would interpret it.
Yeah. And they say they're more innocent and open-minded than we are, because the older you get, the more
100%, yeah.
Yeah, you're skeptic of it.
Yeah, I wish I could remember what it was like to be 2, and then then I could tell you guys that, hey, when I was 2, I knew everything.
Yeah.
I could see the other side, and I knew everything, all the answer to everything, and then but when I turned 2 years and 3 months old or something, it just all went away.
You got jaded, man.
I know.
Jaded early.
I know. Should have happened when I was 4, right? In preschool.
Yeah. Man, all the cribs that, I try to park my crib here, but I can never park it, and then I just walk around for hours to park my crib. And this other guy, his crib gets parked right away.
Yeah. Animals too. Yeah, Don's talking about animals sensing and being in tune with spirits.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing worse.
Why aren't there ghost pets? That's what I've always wondered.
What'd you say, Rob?
You know, the ghost of your pet, you know, why don't they ever linger?
I have felt, no joke, what my cat used to feel like jumping on my bed since it's passed. And there's nothing around. So I don't know. I kind of feel like that is a possibility.
I used to think I could hear my dog after he passed away. Like, he kind of had, like, long-ish nails, and, like, we had hardwood floors, so you could always hear him, like, the clattering of his nails. And, like, for the longest time, I swear I could hear that sound. But I don't know. I was probably just primed to hear it.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. But
I felt comforted.
It was comforting, then
Yeah.
it's good.
I mean, he was a Yorkie. He's not going to do anything.
A Yorkie. I love Yorkies.
Yorkies are great.
I don't know about the membership. I think they're trying to look into your membership.
Well, my membership, I mean, I don't really have anything specific yet, but I've been sharing some stuff early, but I only have like 2 members. I don't think. Well, Maribel, did you check out chapter 1 that I put out there just for my members?
So when you have membership, you're supposed to create content only for members, right? Like videos.
Well, there's like all kinds of things you could technically do.
Okay. I'm still learning all of
You could have
this.
live chats just for members.
Oh yeah, subs, yeah.
You can do well, not just subs. Members are different. They pay a monthly
okay.
a monthly subscription. You know, I think whenever I set mine up, I was imagining buying like timeless mysteries, like stuff, and you know, send them out. But I don't know. I need a lot of members.
Merch. It's called merch, Rob.
Yeah, or swag, right? Timeless mystery swag.
Yeah, get some merch. Get like a little, like, what do they call the guys with the big heads.
The baubles?
Yeah, get one of those. Just your head. That'd be cool.
See,
that would be hilarious.
I'm gonna actually make the merch though. Like I'm gonna engrave your logo and stuff and make coasters.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting business cards, and then whenever I'm walking around, be like, you know, go.
Check out my.
But it'll stay, you know, imaginary forever. I'll probably never buy a business card.
You can make them so cheap now.
I am still growing, you know, I'm getting bigger.
Gift memberships. I wish I could help Mirabelle. I'm still kind of learning all of this too. That's why I reached out to Rob. I'm like, you need to show me the ropes.
You know, you guys should be able to get memberships. They're like I showed you guys the other day that all those things are on. They're all turned on, so it should work. I just don't know how it works. Let me see.
Is it through YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube, when you get monetized, there's this option for. Let me just see. Like, you know, if I donated money to myself, I would lose like 30% to YouTube. So can't do that. But I think if you click on, this is how I could do polls. I have to be on YouTube to do those. I can do live polls, questions, and answers.
So yeah, let's see if we just join and then join, and then it says $2.99 per month.
Yeah, that's a membership. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do members only posts. Well, it's usually early, like. But I mean, I don't know. I could do more things. But it seems like when I do post something for members only, they don't see it.
Oh, that's
Unlock
the issue.
members only perks. Oh, I see what you're saying. See, I think you guys should be able to buy memberships for other viewers. It's in the link there when you hit the little $sign. I know somebody was talking about that the other day. You can buy 50 memberships.
Kind of like Twitch.
You can buy one membership, and you can gift them.
Bye, Cup. Thank you for dropping in. I hope that you enjoyed Paranormal Talk. I'm wondering if we should do it again, too. There's so many things we could talk about. It's like endless.
See this, guys? Is it showing up on your screen? Can you see this?
You got it in. Now watch.
It's so small.
What was that?
What was that?
You can purchase your own membership. You could get a super chat. You just make a donation, then you say something, and I don't know what it does. I've never had one yet.
Someone made a donation to me a couple weeks ago.
Also, gift memberships. You don't have to.
Okay.
But there's a few things there. I think the more members I get, the more stuff I'll probably do. Like, but I did post chapter. Like I posted the chapter, the prologue for the Chris Watts story, and then I posted chapter 1 for my members, and it was so long that I had to break it up into 5 different posts. So
I didn't know you could post until like a week ago. You know, just do a post, which was cool.
Yeah, you can. Somebody's got some static.
Probably my phone. Yep, it's the cooling fan. I had it on the laptop.